Democracy returns to Mali as presidential election held. Togo also holds parliamentary election. Campaign to rid West Africa of the scourge of malaria gets another boost, with groundbreaking ceremony held for biolarvicides factory in Ghana. Committee of Central Bank Governors review program for introduction of second currency. First set of ECOWAS volunteers complete mission in Liberia. ECOWAS treats wrestling fans to another wrestling extravaganza in Senegal. The focus of the world was on the West African state of Mali, as concerted efforts to restore democratic governance to the country climaxed with the presidential election. ECOWAS, which has been in the forefront of resolving the crisis in the country through mediation and the defunct Africa-led intervention force in Mali, provided the government of Mali with a grant of $1 million and deployed a technical electoral team to help out with the preparation for the election. ECOWAS deployed 250 observers to monitor the election and ensure that the elections were held within the limits of objective imperfections, peacefully and in a free, fair and transparent manner. The mission included delegations from the ECOWAS Council of the Wise, West African ambassadors accredited to the ECOWAS Commission in Abuja, the Community Parliament and the Court of Justice. It also included experts drawn from the relevant ministries and electoral management bodies of member states, civil society organizations and the media. The head of the ECOWAS observation mission to the 2013 presidential elections in Mali, former Ghanaian President John Kufuor, said the elections held special significance. He explained that it serves first as a challenge to forces of terror and division that sought to break up a historic nation, and also as the culmination of the brave efforts to protect democracy and due process. President Kufuor appealed to all Malians and the political parties and candidates to ensure that the election was peaceful, free, fair and transparent. This was the spirit that prevailed as the elections were held all over Mali. The 250-strong election observation mission were deployed to all parts of the country and monitored the first round of election, which failed to produce a clear winner, as well as the subsequent runoff. At the end of each election, the ECOWAS Observer Mission issued preliminary declarations holding that the Malian presidential election was peaceful, free, transparent and credible, and congratulated all the stakeholders for the remarkable achievement.
I'm thankful. My apprehensions have been dispersed by the overall performance of the people of Mali. I get the feeling they are determined to draw the line behind them. All those unhappy things that were happening, they want to look ahead. It was the conduct of this election, where the turnout, both in the first and second rounds, have exceeded any elections before, since independence. But especially with the high participation of women in this, I believe I should convince people that Mali wants peace, Mali wants stability, Mali wants legitimacy of governance.
There was also voting in Togo in parliamentary elections, which had suffered several postponements. More than 1,100 ruling party and opposition coalition candidates and 14 independents contested the national legislative poll, considered to be a forerunner to Togo's crucial presidential elections in 2015. ECOWAS leaders played a very strong role in guiding the political process as the polity was heated up by the postponement of the election earlier scheduled for October 2012. ECOWAS deployed an observation mission of 80 persons led by a member of the ECOWAS Council of the Wise, Ambassador Leopold Ouedraogo. As is the practice, the ECOWAS observers monitored the electoral process in Togo's 5 regions and filed in their reports. Ambassador Ouedraogo, accompanied by the Vice President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Toga McIntosh, visited a number of polling centers. At the end of the election, the ECOWAS observation mission issued its preliminary declaration in which it said the election met the desired standard. In the run-up to the election, the head of the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission, Ambassador Leopold Ouedraogo, met with officials of Togo's Independent National Electoral Commission, CENI, and the non-governmental organization Gori Institute of Electoral Assistance as part of consultations with stakeholders in pacification efforts. Ambassador Ouedraogo assured of ECOWAS' readiness to support and accompany the country in its electoral process as part of the objective to re-institutionalize democracy and good governance in the region. CENI chairperson, Madam Angele Agigadola, said the postponement of the polls, originally fixed for October and then moved to 21st July before the 25th July date, gave the Commission some advantage in logistics planning and implementation. The 29th meeting of the Committee of Governors of Central Banks in the West Africa Monetary Zone, made up of Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria and Sierra Leone, has been held in Accra. The primary agenda was the status of implementation of the revised roadmap for the ECOWAS single currency, which involves the creation of a second currency for the 6 member states of the second monetary zone by 2015. The second currency, to be called the ECO, will be used in the second before the emergence of a single currency for West Africa. Governor of Nigeria's central bank, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, whose term as chairman of the forum ended at the meeting, says the critical infrastructure being developed, such as the payment system and capital market integration, would strengthen the region's financial sector. He stressed how important it was for WAMS to get it right the first time.
We've seen the experience of the Eurozone, and there are lessons that have to be learned. A lot has to be done still in terms of trade integration, movement of goods and people, movement of capital across borders, harmonization of external tariffs, looking at some kind of fiscal union, because we've seen with Europe that a currency union without fiscal union carries some risks. So this process, I think, is an ongoing process. We'll continue looking at the dates, and if we need to recommend an extension, we'll recommend an extension.
Dr. Abuaku Englama, Director General of the West Africa Monetary Institute, WAMI, told the meeting that in 2012, no ECOWAS member state satisfied all the 4 primary macroeconomic convergence criteria to warrant the introduction of a single currency for ECOWAS. Governor of Ghana Central Bank, Dr. Henry Kofi Wampa, who took over as